I've had the honor of participating in all 11 SSU commencement ceremonies thus far. This is a very special day. Here are some reasons why. Since 2012, SSU's graduating class has included both undergraduate and graduate students, scholars, in the CBA and MBA programs. In 2017, we added a second graduate program, the Master of Science in Information Technology, as well as expanded to SSU to Las Vegas, Nevada. Today's ceremony includes our first graduate in the Master of Science in Information Technology and our first graduate from the Las Vegas MBA program. So during your time here, SSU has continued to grow and expand our educational offerings. We are delighted you have been part of this history with our university. However, today is most special because of you, our graduating students. In the United States, over 2 million students will receive college degrees in the month of May and June. Of those, approximately 10% are international students like most of you. One of the things that makes SSU distinctive and special is that you have studied and earned your degrees in a truly international academic learning environment. As signified by the flags behind me, this year our graduates hail from 23 different countries. That's very diverse. They are, in alphabetical order, Brazil, China, Germany, Guatemala, India, Iran, Israel, Italy, Japan, Jordan, Pakistan, Libya, Nepal, the Philippines, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, Ukraine, the United States, Venezuela, and Vietnam. We also have over 400 special guests with us today, many of whom are family members who have traveled to San Diego from all over the world to be here and share in this special moment. Welcome. Actually, you're not really guests, you're part of our SSU family. Today's graduates could not have achieved their dreams without your love and support. We're delighted and honored to have you here to celebrate this special day. Thank you for sharing this time with us. One last thing I'd like to note before we move on is that on behalf of the SSU faculty, staff, and administration, I can honestly say that no one here today is being given a degree. You have all earned your degree. That is one of the hallmarks of any accredited college or university. From your time and your studies here, the most valuable thing you've learned is how to think. That is the most important part of your education. It is something you will have forever. No one can ever take that away from you. We are proud of each and every one of you, and we are here to honor your achievements. I'd now like to introduce our platform party. First, the SSU administration. Our new Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Charlotte Islam. On this side, Victoria Addy. Victoria is Director of Institutional Research and Assessment Coordinator. Someone here that you've all emailed before is Wendy Du. Our university librarian, Cheryl's here. A few of you might know Ms. B. Bird. She is no stranger to the Irvine brand. Love you, Bing! We love you, Bing! Denise Mastro is Director of Admissions and Financial Aid. On our faculty side is Mr. William Taylor. Javier Flores. Dr. Rachel Kim. And John Schultz. Shout out to our former MBA student who's now working with us, and she's the event coordinator who did all of this today, Aisha. Okay. Next, we have two student speakers today. One from the MBA program, one from the BBA program. Our BBA student will go first. And that is Servet. He is from Istanbul, Turkey, and has been in the United States for about 7 years. He first came here to study English, then he went to a program at UCLA, where I used to work before coming here, in advertising, marketing, and advertising. Then after that, he worked for Air New Zealand in Los Angeles, and then applied to the BBA program, and is now earning his bachelor's degree. Please welcome.
Dear distinguished guests, administrators, professors, families, friends, and members of the class of 2019. I'm honored and humbled to address you on behalf of Bachelor of Business Administration, degree of our school. My name is Servet Bukce, and I'm graduating with the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. It might sound cliche, but it was not easy. Back in 2012, when I first came to the States, without any English background whatsoever, I was quite embarrassed that I was not able to call a cab at the airport due to lack of structuring a sentence. I know how hard can it possibly be to a call at the airport, right? But it's not well easy for those who had a similar experience. Understand that most of us here have a different backgrounds, cultures, lifestyles from all over the world. One thing I always appreciate is that I'm glad that I felt that way as soon as I arrived at the state where I was going to stay 7 more years with lots of experiences, both in education and life in general. And in the end, I ended up being the graduate speaker of the university that I'm graduating from, which is not bad at all. When I first signed up for the English school, I was put in the lowest level of English class, which was obvious that I had almost nothing in my vocabulary, but the scene I had at the airport only gave me the strength and the motivation that I needed to improve my one and only way of restoring my family's trust and prove myself that I can actually do it by myself this time, because the background I had in Turkey was not right at all. It was a chance for me to show them that I can be that person who they look up to when they graduate with degrees, with learning additional 1 or 2 languages. Now I speak Spanish too. I had no room for messing it up this time. I had only heard the city of Los Angeles from the movies. I had no clue where I was going to stay, So I stayed in a family house who took care of me for about 2 months until I moved with a friend that I met at school. My program at the English school was only 9 months as my family's budget was limited as I had to have enough TOEFL score to enroll the major that I wanted to study at UCLA. Marketing and Advertising program. My English school was so close to the UCLA campus in Westwood, and I was going to the campus almost every day to experience the feeling of being a fluent, even if it's for 2 years. It was not easy for a student who is only going to study English for 9 months and must have at least 82 score from TOEFL exam to enroll as a student of UCLA. I started the first week of my English school and knew nobody, but I was so dedicated to learn anything English that whatever it takes to learn as fast as possible. The classes were only 3 hours of the day, and the rest of the 21 hours were available to learn. I figured that since I had so many opportunities to learn outside of school, I decided to walk around the city and try to interact with people that I don't know. For example, I was walking down to the coffee shops nearby and literally tapping people's shoulders and asked kindly whether we can talk English as I want to improve and have some coffee talk. Most of them were welcoming me, and some of them actually became my friends as they saw me that I wanted to learn their language vulnerably and wanted to give me a hand. Again, I always appreciate their help that helped me so much that ended up here. After studying hours of grammar, reading biography type of books, and watching TV shows with English subtitles, I still had to do more than what I was doing, not to think in Turkish. So first action I took was telling my family that we no longer will be able to FaceTime every day, at least until I get the score I need. Second action was not talking to any person that speaks my language, which was a key point as it leaves you no option but talk and think in English. The third and the last action I took, it might sound a bit crazy, but I talked to myself. Yes, I decided to talk to myself because there was no coffee shop that I'd never gone and asked in the neighborhood and having difficulty of finding native speakers to talk. My place to school was about 2 to 3 miles of walking. People take the bus too, but I prefer walking as I love working out. And I decided to tell about my daily plans, making comments about the billboards I see while walking, political situations going on in the country, and the characters of the actions of the TV shows and movies I was watching every night. The first few days were great, but I saw people looking at me quite strangely that I was talking to myself out loud. So to avoid such misunderstanding, I bought a headphone that saved me so people saw me that I was rapping. After 5 months of studying and living in English intensively, the school lifted me from low intermediate class to high intermediate, which I only spent 2 weeks, that they put me in an advanced class as I requested tests to upgrade me and pass all of them. After 2 months of studying a TOEFL class, which was extremely difficult than the previous class that I took, I loved it. It challenged me and made me take TOEFL tests to see myself where I was at. I was hanging around between 60 to 65 points, which was not enough to get into UCLA, so I had to study harder. The second and third exams I tried were about 70, but still had more than 10 points difference between the score I needed. I figured one night that I have to relocate. It was an absurd decision, but I called the agency to help me study here, asked for a place where it's far away from Los Angeles, and possibly the smallest city with a university and library in it just for a month to study TOEFL. I moved to a city called Kappert for a month to study TOEFL and lived in a tiny dorm room with 4 people. As I said in the beginning, I can't mess up and come back saying that I couldn't do it to my family, so I was doing whatever it takes to improve myself. So I was putting up with all the situations without a single complaint. After studying 12 hours or more every day for a month, I was so ready to take the exam in the same city in Kappert. I knew that I was going to get the score I needed because I was testing myself every single day, and the last 5 exams I took was over 85 to 90. So I had the confidence to say that I'm going back to Los Angeles the same day I take the exam. The results came in after the week and I took 87 points, was able to catch the spring semester of UCLA extension, majoring marketing and advertising program. As I said, it was not easy, but I made it. I made my family proud, myself, and of course the feeling of learning and succeeding is incredible. After I studied there for about 2 years, I decided to apply for an OPT program to find a job that is related to my major. people were very reluctant to telling me that it's almost impossible to find a company to work for only a year. I said to myself, you never know until you try. I did look for jobs for about a month with over 100 applications, including 12 face-to-face interviews. I landed a job at Air New Zealand at LAX as a customer service representative, later becoming a backroom supervisor, then a VIP lounge host. After having a blast year at Air New Zealand, I decided to study BBA because having a degree from UCLA extension was not enough. I had to have a bachelor degree in business. I searched for schools and found Southern State University, and I met Dee to talk about the process, and she literally hooked me up. Since day one, I admire her loving personality with the utmost energy that I can feel every time I meet her. So we thank you so much for everything. You are the best student advisor. During the 4 years of my life here at this school, I must say that I have learned much more than any other place. Not only from the educational perspective, but also the life in general. Everybody here at SSU taught me a bit of everything, and of course our beloved instructors, Mrs. Peggy Pilbrook, Mrs. Kate Nowak, Mr. Colin Stevens, and of course Mr. John Schultz, and helping all other instructors. I want to thank each of you for lighting the way to us and helping each of us to become better both in school and life. From now on, we as students need to do a better job at explaining why projects we work on should make a difference in our lives and lives around us. We still will fail again and again, but we have to know that we will have to get up, even if it's the 10th time we fail. In this way, people may gain appreciation for our contributions to society. All of us will use our accumulated knowledge in one form or another during the next step of our careers. Some of us will become teachers and will relay complex ideas to society's next generation. Some of us will become lawyers for the legal system for society's benefit in a fair and just manner. And some of us will go into business, where our knowledge will be the key to running a company that brings the benefits of business. Finally, some of us will continue to walk the edges of the unknown and will report back to society what exactly is going on. I thought about it, but I could say in regards to a concluding advice. All I can do is to make 2 suggestions. First, there will be moments in your life when you will have the chance to become a mentor to someone. For many of us, this will happen when we become parents. For all of us, we will be teachers in some way or another. I ask that we accept this responsibility and do it wisely, as someone out there has already done this for you. Second, remember that much of the world is indeed broken, and we have inherited the responsibility to make it a better place. Thank you for your time.
Now for our MBA speaker, Evelyn Rodrigues. Evelyn is a Brazilian journalist based in Las Vegas, Nevada. She graduated in journalism in 2004 and worked as a reporter and producer for TV and radio shows in Brazil. So the Brazilians may have seen her on television. Okay. Since then, she moved in 2009 to Las Vegas to improve her English and studied at the International Academy of English. And has worked since 2011 as an international correspondent for Brazilian media in the U.S. She was the first Brazilian female journalist to come to America to report on MMA and boxing fights. In 2016, Evelyn began her collaboration as a reporter for TV Global International, covering subjects related to the Brazilian community in America. She was a full-time MBA student, a very full-time job, and a very full travel schedule. She did them all at the same time with grace and confidence. Please welcome Evelyn.
My fellow graduates, friends and family, It's an honor to be here today, sharing this very special moment with you. It's time to celebrate our accomplishments, closing an important chapter in our lives, while also opening a new door into many possibilities in our careers. As many of my fellow students here can relate, I came from another country where English is not the first language. I am from Brazil, and I know my Brazilian friends here will understand this, but a lot of people think that I speak Spanish. I have that conversation many, many times. But my native language is Portuguese. Being an immigrant pursuing a higher degree in America is no small feat. When I accepted the challenge of pursuing an MBA at SSU, I knew the path would be uncertain. But I totally underestimated how difficult it would be writing my first project in English. As a journalist who specializes in news and sport events in my own country, I am never short of the exact words to say. Trust me, things got much more complicated when I did my first day of financial accounting. I literally felt like a fish out of water. Pursuing a degree while also maintaining a career or a life or a family is arduous, especially when you have to travel maybe every other week for work. I am a news correspondent for TV Globo in Las Vegas, which is the second largest commercial TV network in the world. My specialty is combat sports and MMA. And there are fights every week, so here we go. I also have witnessed the rise and fall of a lot of stars. Fighters like Jose Aldo, Anderson Silva, and Ronda Rousey, who not only achieved the pinnacle of the sport, but were also able to maintain it for years. There is one thing that all these champions had in common. They had the best teachers leading them and the determination to follow through. I know there is a story behind every graduate here today, and all of them involved dedication, resilience, and courage. In my case, Moodle became my best training partner. The staff at SSU became my team, and Ms. Diane Harmata became my diligent head coach. I want to give a huge special thanks to Diane because I would not have made it without her here today. I also would like to thank Mr. John Tucker, our Chancellor, Dr. Claudia Reiser, our former Chief Academic Officer, Ms. Carmen Gomit for the opportunity and support, and my husband, Brandon Kappert, for always being by my side. Perhaps the most famous fighter of all time, Muhammad Ali, once said, "If you are not courageous enough to take risks, you will accomplish nothing in life." Every student here in this room was brave enough to take the next step to earn a diploma today. Every one of us faced the obstacles along the way, set a goal, and persevere. We should be very proud of ourselves because that is commendable. I'd like to end with a quote by Nelson Mandela, which has encouraged me through my whole career. "I never lose in life. I either win or learn." We are at the top of the mountain today, celebrating a very important achievement. But remember, life will not be only peaks. However, as long as you learn the tools to adapt and keep trying, the highest highs are always ahead. Congratulations, SSU class of 2008.
Thank you, Evelyn, and congratulations. Now our keynote speaker is a longtime faculty member at the San Diego campus, William Taylor. He is from Kansas City, Missouri, a retired U.S. Navy veteran of 22 years. So he's got that little military thing. No. After completion of his military career, he began work in higher education as an adjunct instructor at Central Texas College. He's also worked for Allied American University prior to his faculty appointment at Southern States University in 2015. Mr. Taylor received his bachelor's degree in accounting and MBA in electronic commerce from Hawaii Pacific University. He's earned a postmaster certification in business management from North Central University and has taught classes here for 4 years. He's rarely at a loss for words, and he's our next speaker, William Taylor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, friends, family, faculty, staff, and most importantly, the graduates of 2019. Let me start by saying I'm extremely honored to stand here before you today. When Chancellor Tucker asked me to be your commencement speaker, one idea immediately came to mind. I thought to myself, my goodness, he must not enjoy his time at Southern State University, because this is definitely a career-breaking move. But moving on from that, I began to take a closer look at his decision, and he made some pretty valid points in his email to me. His first point was he complimented me on my continued enthusiastic support for our students here at Southern State University. I will say to you that teaching has enriched my life in ways that can never be measured in financial gain. I also hope that the majority of you and people around will say that today's educators will have a profound impact on the leaders of tomorrow. His next point is that I enjoy spending time with our faculty and administrators during our quarterly training sessions. The exchange of knowledge and ideas and ways to continually grow and develop our academic institution is the foundation of our student success, and I feel blessed to be a part of that. I don't know about the rest of you, but I love those ILO sessions. Okay, I'm just letting it off a little thick now. But I do enjoy sharing stories with my fellow faculty members. And finally, as John so eloquently stated, it will be extremely difficult to imagine me being at a loss of words. As some of you and my students have heard me repeat on numerous occasions, the one thing I enjoy as much as watching you successfully learn the material I present is hearing the sound of my own voice. Honestly, I enjoy that a lot. So as I begin to think about a topic I could speak to you about and take a few minutes of your time, certain ideas came to mind. Success, commitment, overcoming adversity, and then I thought of the most recent course that I taught, a strategic management course. While I've been teaching at Southern State University since 2015, I can honestly say to you that this was probably my most challenging course, my most difficult course, and for the most part, probably my least focused course. I could sense that my students lacked the energy and drive that they normally possess when engaging in their studies. They spent less time involved in the classroom discussions and more time watching the clock and asking me when the next bathroom break was. I found myself spending as much time trying to redirect their sidebar conversations as I did lecturing the material. There was a time I wondered if I was really committed to what I was doing. There was a time I wondered if this was really worth the aggravation. And as the course went on, I began to realize that I needed to increase my efforts. That I love teaching, and that I'm passionate about it, and it's something I believe in. So it was incumbent upon me to find alternative ways to demonstrate that passion for the course material and the course activities to my students, and fully engage them in learning the information that I was presenting from 5:30 to 9:30 on a Tuesday evening. This proved challenging, and while it was a struggle, I feel that I'm a better instructor because of it. I was able to assist my students in navigating the course and through some creative learning methods. Many of them actually performed well. And as for myself, I learned a valuable lesson from this struggle that led me into what I want to talk about today. Today I want to speak to you about the importance of never yielding. Yielding, used as a verb, means to surrender, to submit, to quit, or to give in to the demands of pressure. I felt it was important to address this topic because you, class of 2019, you did not yield. As an individual who served 22 years in the United States Navy, I continually think about how blessed I am today. I also think about how fortunate I am to have seen the places where I've been. Busan, South Korea, Misawa, Japan, Doha, Qatar, Mumbai, India, Djibouti, Singapore. I love the countries where the city is named after. I think about these places in the perspective from a military serviceman. I think about the fact that I was never in any of these places for longer than a year, and I was always surrounded by military personnel, which led me to feel safe and protected for the most part. In many of these places, there were U.S. military installations nearby that aided in increasing my comfort level by providing me that additional support system and eased my transition into that country. Our international students could only hope to be so lucky. Many of them aren't afforded such an extensive support system. While colleges do a nice job of ensuring that academic and visa-related student issues are adequately addressed, at times they lose sight of the much more social cultural perspective that our international students are left to figure out on their own. A daunting task, to say the least. I start each class at the beginning of each term asking my students 5 questions. 2 in particular, where are you from and how long have you been in the United States, gives me a greater understanding of where they are in this adjustment period. While some of my students have been in the U.S. for a couple of years, there are just as many that have been here approximately a couple of months prior to starting the program. Can you imagine the anxiety and stress level associated with the undertaking of this magnitude? As an instructor of a largely international student population, I constantly think about what my students might be experiencing and how would I react in a similar situation. The anxiety I would feel being in an unfamiliar place, and the stress from being surrounded by people speaking an unfamiliar language, socializing in a different manner, experiencing a different culture, or something as simple as eating a different food. I often wonder if I would have difficulty interacting with people of a different country. How easy would it be for me to make new friends? Would I experience isolation, apprehension, or emotional issues that would negatively impact my performance? Finally, would I have the commitment to withstand this adversity? Would I have the patience to endure these obstacles in search of the financial rewards that can be garnered from academic success? I often wonder whether or not I would yield. This is a further testament to your magnificent accomplishment. When the time came for you to make that difficult decision to leave your family behind and travel to a foreign land in pursuit of an educational goal, you accepted that challenge. You did not yield. When you finally began to realize how expensive it is to live in California and know that you must find a part-time employment to be able to afford some of the finer luxuries, like food and clothing, you did not yield. When you had to spend those additional hours working on your comprehension of the English language or trying to master the APA writing standards required to complete your MBA project, understanding the formatting and structuring of guidelines of a research paper, you did not yield. When the time came for you to sacrifice trips to your homeland or vacations with friends and family, and understanding that you had to get prepared for an upcoming class and not neglecting your studies, you did not yield. When you faced challenges in the course and with an instructor who you felt may not have been supportive, or maybe not having the necessary prerequisite knowledge that would lead to being successful in a particular class, you stayed the course and you did not yield. You demonstrated great character in the face of adversity, an ability to persevere in any challenge, and a commitment to excel regardless of the obstacles. You did not yield. You did not allow the difficulties to distract or discourage you from attaining this achievement, and you are to be celebrated for this accomplishment. But the real work begins now. The world needs you. Moving forward, you're charged to replace the 3 H's of horror, hostility, and hate that permeate the world we live in today and replace those with the 3 A's of acceptance, appreciation, and altruism. Acceptance. Accepting the premise that while our cultural, religious, or gender differences can create challenges that we must overcome, they can also create a space where knowledge and abilities can be cultivated into opportunities for personal growth and self-transformation. Appreciation. Appreciating the chance that you have been given to be part of a world that embraces diversity and inclusivity, and the idea that we all have something to contribute to making this world a better place to live. And finally, altruism. How will each and every one of you aid in improving those you come in contact with? Hear me now. Through more selflessness and less selfishness. And in what capacity will you work to serve those? Will you work through public service, through the private sector, or maybe even the military? So as you leave here today feeling great about your accomplishment, looking forward to the next chapter and challenge that you will face while enjoying a great dinner at one of our fabulous restaurants within the city, remember that the journey will not be easy, and sometimes it will be extremely difficult. But do not waver, stay the course, and whatever you do, do not yield. On behalf of the Southern States family, congratulations and thank you.
And now the moment we've been waiting for, the conferring of degrees. Will all the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration please stand? By the authority invested in me as Chancellor of Southern States University, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Congratulations.